It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and welcoming via Zoom today, Michelle Dosson is with Best Friends Animal Society, here to talk to us a little bit about February being Spay and Neuter Awareness Month. Perhaps the most important, certainly one of the most important things that you can do for your pets, and we're going to talk and explore a little bit about why that is it is such an important thing. And Michelle, am I getting it right? Would that be correct to say that spay and neuter for our dogs and cats and our beloved pets is an important practice?
Oh, 100%. And thanks for having me on here. And we can talk about how it's related to how our pets are family, right? And we want the best for our family. And really the best thing that we can do, it's multifaceted, but for their health, their happiness, and also, helping shelters out around the country is to spay and neuter to help control those, unhoused, homeless pet population.
Sure. Now let's right up front, Best Friends Animal Society, you advocate for no-kill shelters. That's your preference. And spay and neuter would be a very strong tool toward making that a reality. Is that fair to say?
Yes, for sure. We have an organizational mission of no-kill, of a national mission of no-kill 2025. So taking the whole country to no-kill by 2025, and spay neutering, there's a lot of moving pieces of that puzzle, and spay neutering, all of them are important, but spay neutering is one of the fundamentals of animal welfare and saving more animals' lives.
And as we've talked on this program, it's been a while, but we've talked to veterinarians. We've talked with just recently the Humane Society of Sedona folks. We didn't get deeply into spay and neuter, but when you adopt a pet from many of the shelters and things I know here in northern Arizona, including Sedona, Humane Society of Sedona, that adopted pet is going to have been spayed or neutered. It's routine. It's how they do it. Would that be your preference too?
Right, and a lot of states have mandatory spay and neuter legislation. So it just depends on what state you're living in. Yeah. But most states have adopted that piece of legislation where animals who are adopted have to be spayed and neutered.
One of the things, we think about population controls and unexpected unwanted litters and strays and things like that. But your group sent me kind of a laundry list of other things that are important for the health and safety and welfare of the dog. And I kind of wanted to go through some of those. Certainly unwanted, unloved pets. Nobody wants to see that. In the ideal world, shelters would be unnecessary. Every pet would have a forever home. But that's not the reality, and all we can do is work toward that eventual goal. So population obviously is kind of the driving force behind spay and neuter. But spay we mean is for female pets, and neuter for the uninitiated is for male pets. The terminologies that we use. But there's some real serious health concerns and issues that can arise for unaltered pets. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. You're probably referring to like the actual health of the pet as well as behavioral problems that can come from not an unaltered, spayed or neutered animal. And I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about all of that, but beyond decreasing the number of accidental litters, that's the obvious one, right?
Sure.
Looking at future medical problems that could arise in your animal, in your pet. There's lots of expenses that are associated with access to vet care, but we see it a lot in unneutered males, testicular cancer, with females, uterine infections, and ovarian and breast cancers in both of the sexes. The list goes on, but when you look at behavior wise, my background is in field services, so animal protection, animal control, rabies control, and a lot of our calls stem from, loose dogs just randomly escaping their yards. And when you make contact with the residents and the pet owners, the families, and they say, our cat or dog, they won't stay in the yard, and they're destroying the fence, and that he's got all these destructive behaviors and destroying my blinds, trying to get out the front door. And it boils down to just, having a conversation with them, and you find out that their male dog is unneutered, and you explain to them, like, that is a driving force behind them trying to escape. Nature is taking its course and telling that dog that there is a female in heat, up a mile away, and he needs to go find her. So a lot of the simple behavior issues that people describe, and which lead to stray animals, is because intact animals are going to find a way to find each other and breed, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, like, keeping your pets safe, right? So that keeps them safe by spaying and neutering them, and taking that drive to breed and escape away is gonna, save your home from destruction, save your pet from being stray at large, escaping your yard and potentially coming into a dangerous situation, as well as saving you money on your home. So their happiness, their health, and your happiness and your health is greatly related in this. We're also talking about public safety. A lot of dog bite incidents in a community, like 60 to 80% of them are caused by intact male dogs.
That's extraordinary. I noted that in the information you said. I'm going to repeat that because I found that to be to me, that was surprising. 60 to 80% of dog bites are caused by intact male dogs, whether they be stray or a neighbor's dog or whatever the situation. I found that a very compelling statistic.
Yeah, and I hate to compare animals to humans, but there's testosterone production,
Sure.
and with that comes we all familiar with testosterone production and what that can lead to, not aggressive behaviors, but more offensive, behaviors. And if an intact male dog comes across another intact male dog, and perhaps they're competing for the same, female dog that's in heat, there could be incidences there, and people. Meanwhile, they don't want to see animals, in a fight with each other. So
Sure.
Humans put their hands in, try to escape, try to separate them, and then often get redirected on. And then, unfortunately, a bite incident happens. So there's multiple levels of it, and it's not just humans separating them. Just an elevated testosterone level can lead to more behavior concerns for intact dogs.
Sure. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, you think about it, what you were describing earlier, a male dog, say, is trying to get out of the yard because he knows there's a potential girlfriend up the street or whatever. It seems to me that would be uncomfortable for the dog, let alone destructive to your property, dangerous. If the dog does get out, he's going to run in front of cars and whatever, and not really thinking about it. He's only thinking about that lady friend that he wants to meet. So you just kind of think, I mean, there's certain safety, there's financial things, but just the comfort. You want your dog to be healthy and comfortable, and he's not going to be when he's feeling amorous and can't kind of do anything about it. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
We do need to pause for just a moment, but terrific information. February is Spay and Neuter Awareness Month. We're talking today with Michelle Dosson, Best Friends Animal Society, very much advocating for spaying and neutering your pet, and the reasons behind it. They are many. We'll take a short break. We'll be back to Countywide right after this.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Service for over 25 years and continues to serve the communities in northern Arizona. Jackson Hewitt is here to help you file your personal taxes. As laws and situations change, your local Jackson Hewitt Tax Service professional stays updated to serve you. Drop off or make an in-person appointment in Flagstaff. Call 213-8626. That's 213-8626. That's 213-8626.
The award-winning experts at Verde Solaire Services offer the trusted carrier products that help you customize a solution to fit your budget. Verde Solaire is a family-owned business serving the Verde Valley for 38 years with the carrier products you can rely on. Carrier AC systems are trusted to bring energy-efficient, quiet, consistent comfort. Call 928-567-5315 for a free assessment of your AC and air quality needs. Verde Solaire Services, online at verdesolaire.com, a factory-authorized carrier dealer.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones' financial advisor, Matthias Sandoval, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure your goals are top of mind. While you can't control the market volatility, we'll focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 634-1044.
Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome back to the program. It is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller. Michelle Dosson is our guest via Zoom today, talking to us from Utah, home of Best Friends Animal Society. February is Spay and Neuter Awareness Month, and that is what we're talking about today. All right, Michelle, I want to hit you direct with one. You've probably heard this. I've certainly heard this. You'll hear a gentleman say, "Well, I'm not going to have my boy neutered, my dog neutered. I wouldn't want someone to do that to me." And what is your kind of reaction to that?
Oh yeah, this is a classic, right?
Right.
All the time,
right?
And I try to relate to the person of where they're coming from, and I understand that point of view. It's really important to hear people out and understand it, but then you just hit them with the cold hard facts. Like, the benefits of neutering your dog far outweigh whatever insecurities you have as a human male, right?
The dog
and whatever.
The dog doesn't care.
The dog does not care. And what are your intentions with your dog, with your pet, right? Is it part of your family? Would you not want the best for your family and to be able to avoid potential public safety, your safety, the expenses incurred in a potential health crisis for your animal? Like, what is it that you want for your pet? And hands down, neutering or spaying and neutering is the best thing that you can do for your pet, health-wise and behavior-wise.
You bet. What are, though, we've heard that and we kind of chuckle a tiny bit, and that does come up from time to time, but there can be other issues and reasons why people legitimately feel that spaying and neutering is not, and I'm thinking primarily financial. I believe with pets, it's typically a little bit more expensive to alter female pets than males. But either way, sometimes that can be a little bit of a burden on pet owners or would-be pet owners.
100%. And right now we are in like a national crisis with access to vet care. We have a severe shortage of veterinarians. So there is definitely like access to just the services is an absolute issue. And on top of that is accessible and affordable services, vet care services. But that also, there are a lot of low cost and affordable programs around the country. So you can post a list of that. I think we provided you that information. But utilizing those free or low cost spay neuter services, but also tying it back to where are you getting your animals from?
Bingo.
Like if you are purchasing, those animals typically aren't going to come spayed and neutered. So if the expenses are the barrier between you and altering your pet, I really encourage people to adopt, because those organizations, your pet is going to come fully loaded with all the vaccines up until that point of its age, right? And spayed and neutered and probably microchipped as well. So if you are thinking that is a barrier to you either owning a pet or getting your pet spay neutered, number one, access those low-cost spay neuter clinics and programs that are available in your community. And number two, really go and adopt instead of purchasing, because they will come already spayed and neutered.
Ready to go. It's got to be, it seems to be, a very low percentage of people who are adopting a pet with the intention to breed the pet. Do we have any understanding of that? It seems to me that is a whole different world. And I understand that it happens. I've been a dog owner my whole life. All of them have been rescue dogs, and you can't find a better friend than a rescue animal, a mixed breed. I mean, the mutts, if you will. But still, some folks are going to insist on purebreds, and a lot of times, I know I've seen in personal experience a lot of folks who adopt purebreds, from legitimate, reputable resources or otherwise, do not want to have them altered. Well, someday we may become dog breeders. Do you hear that? Is that part of the problem?
I don't really. So pet owners, I mean, they're compassionate humans. We love them like family. And I don't hear a lot of people buying animals from reputable breeders,
Right.
Who with the intent of breeding them. But I do think that there's some old wives' tales and old veterinary practices that encourage, a female to have at least one litter, or just to let them have one litter just because it's a health benefit, but really there is no health benefit to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are more and more aware of that. There's also a significant cost that is involved with breeding your animal and the proper way, so that you don't, with all the vaccines and proper care. So I don't really hear people
Right.
intentionally buying animals to breed them. Reputable breeders they keep lots of registries, and then they keep up with their animals. So I don't hear that happening a whole lot, but I do hear a lot of hey, but my veterinarian said I can only spay and neuter them at 6 months of age or 1 year of age, or after they've had X amount of heat cycles. And that is just not simply like the best practice anymore.
Yeah.
Animals are able to be spayed and neutered at a very young age, and safely as well. So about 2 months, or depending on the poundage, 2 pounds, 2 months.
I know that just recently, here again, we talked with some folks from the Humane Society of Sedona, and they've got an entire program, not only of kind of helping you match up with the correct pet, but also, follow-up about pet health and behaviors and things like that. And here again, when you adopt from that shelter and many others in our area, that pet will already be altered. That's part of how it works. But the point being, power is knowledge is power, and understanding what it is, what it isn't, and getting the true facts, the correct resourced materials, that's going to help you make a better decision, not only in the adoption point, but the pet, the full life of the pet. Is that right?
100%. And animal shelters right now are really more of a community resource center. It's no longer, this is your pet, you adopt, out the door, good luck to you.
Well put.
As you mentioned.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And I think that it's becoming more of a profession, and I'm loving that, because really it takes a lot of subject matter expertise to run an animal shelter and successfully, protect your community's health and public safety. And you mentioned that the Humane Society, they have a matching program. So the goal is to find you in adoption, to find you the best pet that fits your lifestyle, and vice versa, right? So you, your family, and that pet are in the most happy situation possible. So matching, and then the health follow-ups, as well as behavioral supports, like that, those are all the benefits that you can get from adopting from an animal shelter. They are there for you and your pet and your family throughout the entire process and beyond.
All right, Michelle, I do want to take one final break. We've had great information, compelling reasons and logic behind having your pet spayed or neutered, the behavioral issues, the health issues. But again, the bottom line, as we circle back a little bit, is going to be those overpopulations, those unwanted, unloved, and often because of that situation, mistreated pets that are out there. There's just too many. When we come back, we'll go back toward that a little bit more. Again, our guest, Michelle Dosson with the Best Friends Animal Society. It's countywide, and we're back right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley for 38 years, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust, designed, engineered, and built in the USA. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates on systems that are quiet and affordable. Verde Solaire is locally owned since 1983 and available for all your heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. Call 928-567-5315. visit them online at vertisolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Taxes.
It's that time again. This is Lewis with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. We don't sell cars, we don't do hair or wait tables. We do taxes. At Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, we talk taxes and we prepare taxes. Open year-round for tax filings. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona. For over 20 years, our local preparers have helped neighbors pay their fair share and no more.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service in the Tri-Cities at 772-7872. That's 772-7872.
Welcome back. Our final segment of Countywide for this program. Again, Best Friends Animal Society and Representative Michelle Dosson talking to us via Zoom today. February is Spay and Neuter Awareness Month, and there have been some terrific reasons, some very compelling reasons, health-wise, behavioral-wise, why spaying and neutering your pet is really critical. Not just important, but very, very critical to the lifelong love and relationship that you'll have with your pet. But Michelle, the bottom line again is not spaying or neutering leads to pet overpopulation, and that can be just a heartbreaking string of scenarios that can follow that. Is that right?
Yes, and if you think about it, don't think about it like humans having 1, 2, maybe 3 babies at a time. Litters are multiple, and so really trying to keep up with the quick heat cycles and gestational periods of animals. I mean, we're looking at, a pair of unaltered animals who do breed, and the offspring that comes from them within 1 year is potentially thousands, because they can breed at such a young age. And, their gestational period is only about 60 days. So babies are out there having babies. So let's not have that happen, and just spay and neuter your pets.
I think a lot of us have seen online, there's a kind of a chart that I think you're kind of sort of referencing that, where one female kitty out there in the wild running around in the streets can have, within a very short amount of time, and that's what you're talking about, that it can just grow exponentially faster, I mean, like wildfire. It just can become a terrible problem. And you think about the quality of life that most of those pets are going to have, which is dismal. Open to predators, open to mean people, open to accidents in the street. It's just an awful thing to think about. And by golly, it just puts a fine point to me on why spay and neuter is just so critical.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of, animals out there who don't have homes, who do live successful lives, and they are doing we're talking mostly about cats here. Community cats are able to thrive without a house. But when we're talking about domestic pets, those animals, we have evolved to a point where they depend on us. And, we are stewards of our pets, and we need to do what's best by them. And again, coming back to spay, neutering, and adopting, that is just the best thing that we can do for our furry friends.
If there are folks certainly in our listening audience who either have pets that are not spayed or neutered, or perhaps are considering adoption, or just need more information about why this is such an important procedure, are there some resources online, say? Do you have phone numbers or anything like that? Steer our listeners, if you would, Michelle, toward getting more of that valuable information.
Yeah, for sure. And, I want this could be utilized all over the world, actually, but particularly in the US. Like, Google is our best friend, right? Yeah, and yeah. I'm telling you, I promise you, there is a local animal shelter that is way closer to you than you think. So I would pop onto Google and I would say, local animal shelter is close to me, or free, low-cost spay neuter services close to me. There are going to be organizations that are your neighbor.
Yeah.
Very close to you. And I mean, we do have a website. It's bestfriends.org. And on there, you'll be able to find a whole lot of national resources as well.
All right. Terrific. Michelle, we appreciate your time very much. Bestfriends.org, February Spay and Neuter Awareness Month. Some very compelling reasons today why you should do that for the love of your pet. Michelle, we thank you very much for joining us. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, Email us news@myradioplace.com.